So, I've been a fan of the Treyarch Zombie series for a long time. I mean, let's be honest, who isn't at this point? The Treyarch Zombies mode is considered the pinnacle of the mode for a lot of people. I would also be inclined to agree that Treyarch has really perfected the mode in their own games, making it the golden standard for other COD developers to follow suit. While Sledgehammer Games hasn't been a fan favorite in the Call of Duty community, they have developed one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time in Advanced Warfare. While I never got the chance to play World War II when the game was launched, the short time I did spend with it was very enjoyable. I actually have a video talking about the things I liked and didn't like about the game when the beta dropped all those years ago. This brings me to today, with Modern Warfare as the latest entry in the series and Battle Royale as the new top dog as a game mode. I had a hankering to play some good old traditional games of zombies. And while the go-to, as I mentioned, is the Treyarch edition of the mode, I became curious in all the other offerings along with this long-running franchise's history. So to start, I decided to give good old World War II a try, as I'm sure you're aware by the title of this video. So first things first, the game is gorgeous. The maps look incredible and offers an amazing variety of locales and areas to traverse. Couple this with the new engine and you got yourself a very good-looking, if not interesting, game. The starting room is pretty small and claustrophobic and introduces the idea of finding power early, with only one of the 3 gates being available to be opened. While I don't really like the idea of finding power sources, this was done in a way where you don't have to find the power switch for the entire map, only a couple of individual sections. The power becomes a theme in this map, seeing as the Wonder Weapon is modeled after the Tesla inventions and the Wunderwaffe from the Treyarch entries. There's a lot of good ideas happening in this game. Right from the onset, the zombies in this game are unsettling, grisly, and much more realistic than their counterparts. At least it starts off that way. Of course, you can't keep the zombies formula in the realism department, but I think this version of zombies does a really great job of keeping the fantasy elements in the realm of realism with the fantasy, retro, futuristic sort of steampunk vibe that the map is going for. The map reveals a sort of war-torn small village with Nazi-occupied bunkers and tunnels that lead in loops to all different parts of the map. If nothing else, I think this map has very good design. There are multiple entry and exit points in any given area aside from the choke points that are really only there to get you from one area of the map to the other. There is verticality in that there are multiple floors and areas that you can jump down from. There are no traversal methods except for the sewer pipes that lead to the weapon upgrade room and double as not only escape routes from the zombies, but also the method in which you unlock the upgrade machine in the first place. And again, the map looks great. There is no shortage of things to look at, and as mentioned before, it's a very believable space to be in. The alternate reality sort of history that you get from this iteration of the game mode is, in my opinion, very engaging and lends to the atmosphere of the map. There's the return of perk machines, however this time they appear in the form of what I can only assume are propaganda machines? The character places their hand on the hand-shaped outline, and true to the theme of the map are shocked pretty violently, after which the game notifies the player that they now have the power-up that they had purchased. The machines are placed around the map and the placement never moves, which is great for players trying to familiarize themselves with this map. There are many areas to explore, and I would say that it's a bit on the larger side, so figuring out where everything is and how to get there can prove vital. Speaking of atmosphere, there is a lot of it on this map. This version of zombies is designed to be creepy and at times even scary, as evidenced by the many opportunities the game takes in the beginning to throw in a jump scare here and there. Zombies suddenly spawning in front of you, dropping from the sky, popping out of windows, are accompanied by short horror string stabs commonly heard in traditional horror films. There are also instances where the environment is also designed in a way to try to invoke a scare from the player. One example that I found is crows suddenly and jarringly flying out for jump scares. Traditionally, this is a very cheap way to try and get a scare, but it's anxiety-inducing, which places the player in the correct mindset to understand that the theme is scares and not just survival. Enemy types do a lot in this regard as well. There are the standard Nazi zombie enemies, which in traditional zombies fashion get stronger and stronger as rounds progress. There are also the special zombie rounds where the enemy type is a small and fast zombie that has its arms cut off. They jump at and attempt to bite the player as their main method of attack. There are also brute-style zombies, zombies with flamethrowers, zombies that carry small artillery on their back, and others. The zombies appear, from what I can tell, in one of two ways. They either start appearing as you get higher and higher on the round counter, or by completing Easter egg steps. This brings me to the one thing that people are most interested in, the Easter egg. The Easter egg on this map is expansive, and it comes in two flavors. There's the casual Easter egg, which is the one that most players will do upon first playing the game mode, and the hardcore Easter egg. There are stark differences between the two, and completing one unlocks an achievement for doing so. I'll explain the differences I could see while playing, but I won't go into too much detail or spend too much time here. The casual Easter egg is called so for one very important reason. The Easter egg steps are listed in the journal for the player to go back and reference. They have small hints inside of them to egg the player on and figure out what the next step in the Easter egg would be. I was able to complete the Easter egg in the first couple of days after playing the game mode. I'm sure I would have been able to complete the Easter egg sooner if the servers on Xbox hadn't kicked me out so many times. Honestly, I think I completed a total of 2 games of Nazi Zombies since starting the game for this video. I experienced so many disconnections and lost host connection screens. The casual Easter egg is what it says on the tin, and it's pretty easy for even a first-timer like myself to complete it. The hardcore Easter egg is named so purely for the reason that it plays like a traditional Easter egg, with deviations from the casual version that are not written down and extra items to complete and find in order to unlock this version of the Easter egg. I ended up getting curious and looking up the hardcore Easter egg just to see if that was something like a beginner could do. And yes, while technically it's something that I can do, it's not something that I would have been able to figure out on my own. This Easter egg was designed for the hardest of the hard gamers, to borrow a term from a friend. In both scenarios, you'll need a level of coordination from all members on the team to finish out the Easter egg. I was lucky enough to have a group of people playing that would get it together just long enough to get the Easter egg finished. The Easter egg more or less plays out the same way, but with slight differences granting different endings. It appears that Sledgehammer is doing what they did in Advanced Warfare and introducing a long-term, short storyline that concludes over several maps. I don't have the DLC, but I'd like to purchase it to see where and how the series changes and grows from what I consider an already very strong starting point. In the end, I think World War II Zombies did a very good job on the Final Reich, and it left me with a very good impression of this new Zombies mode. I know I played it a couple years after its release, but it's never too late to experience something for the first time. I want to continue this series and explore the other types of survival modes in different Call of Duty games, but that may have to wait for a little bit, seeing as it takes me forever to get anything up and running on this channel. Thank you for watching this video, and leave me suggestions for anything you might want to see featured. I'll get around to it eventually. I promise.